Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs again. My name is JDavis. And for those of you who've been tracking us over all these years, 8 years or so, and even before that, 3 previous radio shows before COVID, we love talking to entrepreneurs. It's really what our business is all about. And one of our staples from day one has always been, through 8,000 entrepreneurs, has been the fabulous Marc Z from Marc Z Legal Staffing, for our Marc Z Moment, because he keeps us informed on what's going on in the world of personnel and professional service firms. Welcome back, Marc.
Great to be here, Jeff. And I wouldn't say fabulous, but you're fabulous, and it's great to be on the show.
Well, thank you, Marc. And I just tell you on a sidebar, my tennis pro pulled me aside and tried to teach me the Marc Z serve on the weekend, unsolicited. Tough. It's a tough one. Only you could do it, Marc.
Well, you don't want to do it. You're kind. You're kind.
No. If anybody, one of the greatest, for those who ever know, the greatest amateur tennis players of all time, the fabulous Marc Z.
A legend in my own mind. Well,
and mine. So, Marc, what's going on in the world of professional services?
Well, I thought I would talk about something that's sort of like is not percolated to the top, but it's something that's actively discussed is paternity leave that a lot of organizations are not only using, but it's a Massachusetts law now that people are entitled if they're working for a company and or an organization, and the organization has at least 6 people that you pay into the state, and you're entitled to paternity leave up to 12 weeks. And it's really been something I know a number of people who have used it for their families at all levels, whether it's somebody who's beginning a family, whether it's somebody who's at a certain position where they need to be helpful with their family because of family obligations. And it's something that, especially with a very high-priced state today in terms of dual couples, it's really, really important.
Well, there's so many angles to this, Marc, because, entrepreneurs just are not aware of this law. And I think male employees as well, are nervous to take the full extent of the law off because they feel that their employers are going to retaliate.
Right.
Even if that's the law, they'll find a way to retaliate because they just cannot lose people for three months at a time. I understand the law. I'm not arguing with the law, but I think it's very difficult for entrepreneurs and employees to really do it.
Right. No, I mean, there are obligations. That's why the rules in the law say it has to be 6 employees in the company, because if you're a very smaller company, if you have less than 6 employees, then it's not going to work, and it's very difficult because employers need the support. But it's something that's critical to a family today. If you have a dual couple, and you have, whether it's and it applies to if you're adopting a baby, it applies to a lot of different factors. And so the employers need to know that this is something that's very important for their employees' personal needs, as well as sustainability as a long-term employee with their company. And it's something that's paid into by the employee, and it's something that employers have to honor if they fit that category.
Well, again, I do think it's difficult on both sides. I don't know if you remember, but many years ago, we had an employee who ran the radio show, and they took maternity leave of a couple of months. And it was difficult. It was difficult not having a producer for 2 months on the show. And it wasn't like we had a bench. And so it was tough. And it wasn't like we had 6 or 7 employees. The important point was for us that we wanted to support our staff with maternity leave. And it does put a burden on small business. And I think entrepreneurs need to build their businesses and plan accordingly, because you do have to plan for it.
Correct. And that's what I was going to say to our audience of employers, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether or not you have a family business or a bigger company, is planning for it, working with the staff or managers to say, okay, this person is going to be going out on paternity leave. This is the projected time. Let's work to either distribute the duties that the person has had or responsibilities, or getting in a temporary individual to cover the position. I mean, paternity leave.
I think that's all very important, the whole planning and the preparation of everything. And you have to build it into the cash flow cycle as well to plan
Right.
for the business in case you have to bring on temporary staff. So
Right.
it does require the entrepreneur, not just the employee, to plan better and prepare for that. And, not everybody tells their employer immediately. You don't have to, by law, tell the employer that you're planning a pregnancy also. And that's recent. That's also current data, which we didn't mention. And so the employee has no obligation to tell their employer this.
Correct. Well, that's maternity leave. And you're right. If somebody is joining an employer, if somebody is interviewing for a role, if somebody is even on a certain month or period where they really don't know what's going on with their baby, they have no obligation to speak to the employer. But particularly when where the protection is, when somebody is interviewing for a job, they're under no obligation to say that they're pregnant or not. In this case, with paternity leave, that's something that they should be telling the employer, so the employer can plan with the employee, with the team, to come up with a solution that will support the employer and meet the employer's needs, as well as then meet the employee's long-term needs. Also, they have to hold the position. There can be no, as you say, you can be no retaliation, and they have to hold the position so that employee who's taking maternity leave can come back and take on that position again.
Right. Mark, I know we've talked about bringing on some attorneys also to talk about some of these subjects, attorneys that we both know. I think they're all very relevant to the running of a business today. If someone's
Absolutely.
looking for you and wants more information, how do they find you?
First of all, go on our wonderful Radio Entrepreneurs website, radioentrepreneurs.com. Google Marc Z, M-A-R-C, and the letter Z, 617-338-1300, and marczlegal.com, MarczZlegal.com.
And remind our listeners that you can find Marc Z on our website, and you can hear him every week with new stories of how to successfully run your business on Radio Entrepreneurs.